The small-town Canadian bar was a place of refuge for the weary, the downtrodden, and the restless. The dimly lit room was filled with the scent of beer, cigarettes, and the musty aroma of desperation. The patrons were a motley crew of blue-collar workers, farmers, and out-of-towners passing through. On this particular night, the bar was bustling with activity. A group of loggers were pounding back shots of Canadian whiskey, their laughter boisterous and raucous. A couple of old-timers were playing a game of pool in the corner, their aged faces creased with wrinkles and scars. At one end of the bar, a dumb guy with a buzz cut and a denim jacket was nursing a beer, his eyes flickering around the room. He had come in looking for trouble, itching for a fight. His thick arms were crossed over his chest, his muscles bulging under his shirt. At the other end of the bar, a businessman in a crisp suit was sipping a glass of red wine, his nose buried in a book. He was a stranger to the town, a city slicker who had come in on business. His face was gaunt and pale, his eyes darting back and forth across the pages. The dumb guy eyed him with suspicion, sensing a target. He sauntered over, his knuckles cracking. "Hey, city boy," he sneered. "What's a pretty little thing like you doing in a dump like this?" The businessman looked up, his eyes flashing with annoyance. "Excuse me," he said, his voice cold. The dumb guy grinned, his lips curling back to reveal a set of crooked teeth. "You heard me," he said. "I don't like your kind around here. You think you're better than us." The businessman set down his book, his hands shaking. "I don't want any trouble," he said. "I'm just here to conduct some business and then I'll be on my way." The businessman stood up, his eyes meeting the dumb guy's with a fierce determination. "I won't let you intimidate me," he said, his voice rising. "I may not look like much, but I won't back down from a fight." The dumb guy laughed, his fists raised. The patrons of the bar gathered around, sensing a brawl was about to erupt. The fight was brutal and unforgiving. The dumb guy swung wildly, his fists connecting with the businessman's face and chest. The businessman fought back with all his might, his fists hitting the dumb guy's gut and groin. The other patrons cheered and shouted, egging the two men on. The sound of glasses shattering and chairs splintering filled the air. The smell of blood and sweat mingled with the scent of the bar's stale air. The dumb guy was relentless, his attacks unyielding. But the businessman was cunning, his blows strategic and precise. They traded blows, each landing their fair share of hits. As the fight wore on, the businessman began to tire, his breaths coming in ragged gasps. The dumb guy, sensing victory, moved in for the kill. He threw a punch that landed squarely on the businessman's jaw, sending him crashing to the ground. The bar fell silent as the businessman lay there, motionless. The dumb guy stood there, gazing at the businessman's unconscious body with a mixture of horror and regret. The cheers of the patrons had died down, replaced by a deafening silence. The dumb guy stumbled out of the bar. He walked aimlessly through the deserted streets, his heart heavy with despair. The Canadian landscape around him was beautiful, with its rolling hills and vast forests. He was lost, adrift in a sea of regret and hopelessness.